Well, since I got blocked on this person's particular page, I cannot comment again, because I did make a comment yesterday, and like I said, I got blocked. And my comment was about the fact that the person, Andrew Martin, who made a video recently about a game between Ivan Sokolov and Peter Leko, where Sokolov lost, even though he published a book about this particular opening, The Names of Indian, and he's supposed to be an expert on this opening. But he lost anyway against Leko, and but then I wrote in the comments page that he himself, Andrew Martin, had published a book, I believe, or at least a DVD about the Scandinavian defense, and well, maybe he's an expert himself in that opening, I don't know, but at least he published some work about it. But then he lost several games, and this is just one of them that I had in mind when I wrote my comment on the page. But like I said, the comment got removed, and I was blocked because of that. And it wasn't actually a smart-ass comment at all. I just wrote that how about the game he had lost, even though he'd published some stuff himself. So the game that I was thinking about was the following game. One played between himself, Andrew Martin Black, against Simon Ansel, played in April 2005. So let's take a look at this game. It was Scandinavian defense, Andrew Martin, like I said, Black here, and he chose a variation that I personally don't like at all. He exchanged the bishop right away, like this, and then after queen takes f3, knight c6, bishop e3. This is all book, by the way. There's not too much to say about this. I mean, when you memorize opening moves, you just memorize them. You don't. And even though, if you're an expert, like, I don't know if Andrew Martin is an expert in Scandinavian defense, I suppose he is. I mean, at least he knows a lot about the opening. But I don't know how much deep understanding there really is. I mean, especially when you see a game like this. I mean, this was just a terrible loss for Black. So after queen to e7, d5 was played, and Andrew Martin played knight to e8. I don't like this at all, even though it's part of the opening theory. But there was also, let's see, e takes d5, bishop takes, and just a bunch of exchanges like this. And also queen f5 check. White is completely winning this game. I mean, just look at these double pawns on the f file, and the h7 pawn is about to drop off as well. But that wasn't played. Instead of that, White played bishop takes e7, but there was also bishop f4, knight e6, queen e3, knight b5, queen g3, e5, bishop takes f6, knight takes, f takes e5, and the knight goes back to c3. Just a sample line. But instead of that, bishop takes, queen e3. And to show another sample line here, instead of that, rook to e3, knight e6, d takes, f takes, knight e5. Obviously, Black can't take the knight because the pawn is pinned, so the queen has to go to d7, and just rook takes. And again, White is absolutely winning this. And after queen, bishop d6, knight d6, there was also king b8, just holding on a little bit longer. Pawn takes, rook takes, queen takes, knight d6, knight d5 again. Black cannot take because the pawn is pinned. And also there is no queen d7 this time. Queen g5 check, queen d2, and Black picks off a pawn, e takes f7, queen f3, rook e7, and again Black is just lost. But after queen knight d6, d takes e6, rook h e8, queen e7, and this is actually the actual game. Queen g5 check, king b1, rook takes, pawn takes. Knight e4, queen e5, knight c5, c6, rook b3, queen d5, and now rook takes b7. And Black resigned. Why did he resign? Well, what can he do? If he takes the rook like this, then obviously it's going to be checkmate immediately. Yeah, I mean, and if he takes the knight like this, then it's just going to be checkmate like this. And if he throws in a check, well, since black is going to get checkmated here, white simply goes to a2. So if he checks again, just b3, and again, taking the knight doesn't work, taking the rook doesn't work, so only queen takes b3, pawn takes b3, knight takes, queen takes, and just checkmate. So this was my little response, since I didn't get the chance to do that in the comments page because I got blocked, which I find absolutely ridiculous. So again, this was a game between Simon Ansell and Andrew Martin, played in 2005 in the Scandinavian Defence, and in spite of Martin's published work in Scandinavian, he lost badly.